Hey there, food fanatics, and welcome back to the Tell Me More Hub channel, where we transform culinary curiosities into kitchen confidence. If you're tired of store-bought bread that feels more like a chemistry experiment than a culinary creation, buckle up, Buttercup. Today we're diving headfirst into the wonderful world of homemade honey white bread. It's easier than you think, tastier than you can imagine, and the intoxicating aroma that will soon fill your kitchen? Well, let's just say your neighbors will be knocking. Hit that subscribe button, preheat your ovens, and let's get this dough on the road. Okay, baking bread is often compared to conducting a scientific experiment. But fear not, my friends, we're not splitting atoms here. We're simply combining a few basic ingredients with a dash of kitchen alchemy. First up, grab your trusty bread mixer. That beautiful beast that's probably gathering dust in the corner. Don't have one? No worries. A little elbow grease will do the trick. But I promise you, a bread mixer is a gift from the culinary gods. Now step 1. Into the mixer bowl goes our 7 cups of bread flour. The high protein content is our gluten-building best friend. Next, 2 tablespoons of sugar, because even yeast deserves a little sweetness in its life. 2 teaspoons of salt to balance out the sweetness and enhance the flavor. And finally, the star of the show, 2 tablespoons of active dry yeast. Now, don't be afraid of the yeast. Think of it as a microscopic army of flavor enhancers, just waiting to be unleashed. Give everything a quick whisk to combine and set it aside. Now, while our dry ingredients are getting acquainted, let's turn our attention to step 2. Take a microwavable bowl and put in 1/4 cup butter. We're going for a rich, slightly sweet flavor profile here. Microwave it 30 seconds until it's completely melted and shimmering like liquid gold. Now, here comes the secret ingredient. Add 1/4 cup of honey. Not only will this add a touch of natural sweetness, but it also helps with browning and creates a more tender crumb. Give it a good stir until the honey is fully incorporated into the melted butter and set it aside. Remember those microscopic flavor enhancers we talked about earlier? Well, it's time to wake them up. Step 3. Grab 1 2/3 cups of warm water and 2/3 cup milk. Think baby bottle temperature, around 105 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Too hot, and you'll send those little yeasty buddies to an early grave. Too cold, and they'll be sluggish party animals. Now, add the butter-honey mixture to the water and milk. The milk adds richness, moisture, and a touch of, dare I say it, decadence. Give it a good stir to combine everything, and heat it in the microwave for 60 seconds. When the minute is done, add 1 beaten egg and mix all together. Step 4. Slowly pour the wet ingredients into the dry. Why slowly? Well, we don't want to shock the yeast or create a floury volcanic eruption. Now, here's where things get fun and a little messy. Attach the dough hook to your stand mixer and set it to low speed. Let the mixer do its thing for about 8 minutes. You'll see the dough transform from a sticky, shaggy mess into a smooth, elastic ball of potential. How can you tell if it's ready? The dough should be pulling away from the sides of the bowl and be slightly tacky to the touch, but not overly sticky. If you poke it with your finger, it should slowly spring back. This, my friends, is the magical work of gluten development. No stand mixer? No problem. Turn that dough out onto a lightly floured surface and knead it by hand for about 10 to 12 minutes. It's a workout for your arms and a stress reliever all in one. But that bread mixer makes it all the easier. Okay, our dough has had its workout. Now it's time for a little siesta. Step 5. Lightly grease a large bowl. I like to use butter for that extra touch of flavor. And place your dough ball inside, turning it to coat it in the grease. This prevents a skin from forming and ensures a nice, even rise. Now, cover the bowl tightly with plastic wrap. Make sure it's greased as well, we don't want any sticking. And place it in a warm, draft-free spot. I usually find a sunny spot on my counter works perfectly. Let the dough rise for about 30 minutes, or until it has doubled in size. This is where the magic really happens. All right, our dough has had its beauty sleep, and it's looking plump and ready to go. Step 6. Okay, remove the plastic and turn the bowl upside down and dump the bread dough onto the counter. This is also a great way to relieve any pent-up aggression you might have. Divide the dough in half, because 2 loaves are always better than 1, and shape them into loaves. Now, there are all sorts of fancy shaping techniques out there, but I'm a simple man with simple tastes. I simply press each half into the 2 bread pans, making sure to tuck down all the edges into the pans. Press down on each of the loaves and gently finish forming them into beautiful loaves. Set the 2 loaves aside to raise for another 8 to 10 minutes. Yes, you guessed it, our creation needs another few minutes to become perfect. We want ecstasy in the oven. All right, bakers, we're in the home stretch. Your oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We're ready for step 8. Everything you've done up to now is just the setup for the final baking. Now here's a little trick for crisper bread. Before you pop those loaves in the oven, give them a quick spritz with some water. This creates steam in the oven, which helps with oven spring and gives the bread a beautiful, crackly crust. Bake for 29 minutes, because why not be specific? Or until the loaves are golden brown. And there you have it, folks. 2 beautiful, crusty, golden brown loaves of homemade honey white bread. The aroma alone is enough to make you cry. But please don't. Instead, grab a stick of butter and lightly cover the top of each loaf for the final touch. If you enjoyed this breaducation journey, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the Tell Me More Hub channel for more culinary adventures. Tell us about your baking triumphs and tribulations in the comments below, and let us know what culinary mysteries or other topics you'd like us to demystify next. Until then, see you on the next video.